I can see it in your eyes. Here's Ayesha.
That's quite the intro. Yeah, thank you. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Just Talking. I'm here, Ayesha Dami Magueda, with my lovely and talented fellow coach, Gwenda Lambert. I am the purposeful communication coach, and I help people create their reality through the words that they use. And Gwenda, lovely Gwenda Lambert.
Lovely Gwenda Lambert. I am an advanced grief recovery specialist with the Grief Recovery Institute, and I help you. Exactly what do? I help people move through grief and loss so that they can experience more happiness and joy in their life and get to know your own emotional landscape.
Love
And
it.
because we're talking about words, just talking is Ayesha's gig. So let's go.
Okay, so last week we talked about the emotions of love. This week we're talking about the language of love. And I know there's a lot of information out there, has been for years. I mean, Men Are From Mars and the 5 love languages and how to get what you want in love and all this stuff. And I really feel like, what we want to do is we want to cut it back down. We want to trim the fat. We want to come to the basics of what it means to actually show up in our words and have our words connected to our intention around love, right? So first of all, when we think about love, so yes, we are talking about love relationships, but love relationships are different kinds of relationships, right? So that's family relationships, it's partner relationships, it's friendships, but it's also our relationship with ourselves. And what we want to do is we want to kind of do a little bit of excavating, go back down and figure out, because if your love language is not producing the results that you want, either in yourself or with other people, other relationships, then what you want to look at is, uh, what's going on? Where is it coming from? What am I articulating, and where is it actually coming from? And are those two things actually connected, right? So we learn our first love language from our first family. If you grew up in a household where, the kind of love that you experienced was maybe tough love, maybe it was absentee love, maybe it was makeup love, right? Maybe it was guilt or obligation love, right? That's how we learn how people experience love. Could be food love, right? How many of us were fed to show that we were loved, right? So we want to look back on, what is our communication actually telling people? If we're not able to articulate what we need or what we want, maybe the kind of love that we experienced was a love that we had to put other people first, that we had to really take care of everyone else, it was understood that we were loved, but we never actually experienced the love that we needed, the nurturing that we needed. And so when we're in relationships, what are we doing? We're doing exactly the same thing. We're nurturing other people, and we're not allowing ourselves to be nurtured. We're not asking for it. We're not creating it. We're not making space for it, right? So what we want to do is we want to look at where that's coming from. What did we experience in first family? So for those of us who were in single parent households as well, one of the things is that our parents did exactly what they could, everything that they could to give to us, to take care of us, to teach us. But because we didn't have the model of two people in front of us interacting, sharing love, negotiating, navigating, right? Then it makes it a little trickier for us because we don't have that example in front of us of how to really, in real life, negotiate. Of course, we watch people on TV, we watch people in movies, we see how they interact with each other, but it's not real life, right? Gwen, what do you think about that?
Oh my God, it's perfect. I mean, I think that one of the things that popped out to me at the beginning is the fact that what you're talking about now, it may be expressed that it's love, but it's not really unconditional love. It's not um, your belief, especially as children, is that we have to do something in order to be lovable or in order to be loved. And then the other part is I really like the fact about single parents that they do the best they can. And but it's also important, like, and sometimes I see this even in same-sex marriages, that there's always that uncle or aunt that's also in the child's life. And I don't know if it's just experiences that I know of, but it's like, even as you can be a single parent, but hopefully there's still a positive, same sex. So in other words, I'm the daughter single, of a single mother, and that there can be a strong male role model, because I think one of the misconceptions with what we see on TV is this, these perfect dads that never have to work too late, or never have to, never get distracted by going for a drink, or just not being emotionally available. So it's like, I think that that's part of the harm. And I know, having a father that had mental health issues, he was never emotionally available there. But that doesn't mean that once you take off that expectation hat, that I didn't see areas where he was loving towards me, like in his way. And so I think that there's a really important aspect there of not blaming the single parent, the parent that you are with, right?
Mhm.
The one that's actually helping you, because we tend to feel safe taking things out on the people that we love the most, because
Mhm.
we hopefully they won't leave us out on our own, right? Which is, none of us likes to feel rejected or neglected, right? So,
Yeah.
but being a single parent and who knows how many kids you have, right? My mom was a single parent. There was 4 of us. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
that's right. And everyone's going to have a different experience that way, right? So I'm sorry, I just want to clarify, when you were talking about same-sex um, uh, figures in a marriage, were you talking about an actual like same-sex couple relationship, or were you talking
Yeah,
about?
like just that I think that and when there's children involved, I think it's important, and this is the one thing I got from both my parents, is that there was always interesting people that were in our lives. There was always interesting you know different, some not so good, male role models and female role models that were aunts or uncles or extended
Right.
family.
So,
So
mhm,
yeah.
go ahead.
Sorry, and I think I just got a little confused, because I meant same sex, like, you know, like the mother, like woman. Like, I joke that I'm a professional aunt. So for my nieces, I'm still a female role model, is what I
Right.
was. So that's what I mean.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
Like,
All right.
so like in somebody else. So that's why I would take my friends, I would take them babysitting. Like I gave out free babysitting coupons. Now I would take all those kids and take them elsewhere. So there'd be like 6 or 7 of them. And I would wrestle with the kids, and I would do all this kind of stuff. So it was just, I was I was the aunt that took them places. So that's what I meant. And I know I was saying it, and it's like, no, I don't mean like same sex, like you know homosexual.
Couples.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
that we have people that show us, so that our parents are not the only example of what it is to be female.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody else does sports, somebody else does acting, somebody else does something different than what our parents do. So it gives you a lot of different things to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think if I can just kind of summarize what you're saying, you're essentially saying that uh, we want to look at all the different people that are in our lives that could be role models in different ways for us, other than our parents, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes our parents, and our parents, like, keeping in mind the fact, exactly what you said, that our parents are, this is not a blame issue. This is not to say that our parents are bad, or there's anything wrong with them, because everybody learns from somewhere. They learned from their parents, they learned from their environment, they learned from their experience, and they passed it along to us for better or for worse. And so this is not about blame. And ultimately, when we talk here on Just Talking, we're talking about how do you take responsibility for yourself, and how do you change and transform your own life? And that really only comes from you. So putting blame on other people, whether it's a parent, whether it's another figure, whether it's a sibling, whether it's someone else, it's not helpful, because it keeps you trapped in that disempowerment, right? So that's what we want to come back to, is the self, is how do we take care of ourselves? Now, some of you may have heard this term about reparenting yourself, right?
Mm.
And that's something that I think is really important, because if you feel like you didn't get the kind of parenting or the kind of nurturing that you needed when you were a child, you don't have to just say, oh, that's what happened to me, and and now nothing better can happen. No, you know what? This is all about, love language comes from also how you speak to yourself and how you treat yourself, right? So what's happening in your relationship, take a look at that and kind of put that side by side with how you actually treat yourself as well. How do you love yourself? What does your self-talk look like? When you're in a difficult position, are you negative talking yourself? Are you putting yourself down? Are you saying, this always happens to me? Are you kind of catastrophizing? What are you doing, right? And if that's happening, what you want to start thinking about is, how do I interrupt those patterns? Because they're not helpful patterns for you. They're not things that are loving. They're not nurturing. They're not caring. So first thing you want to do, first conversation to change, is the conversation with self. That's the very first conversation that has to change, right? So change that up. Are you prioritizing yourself? You might be on the phone with someone. They're saying, okay, I need you to do this right away, and you need to drop everything and blah, blah, blah. And if you're like in the middle of something, you go, okay, I'm just going to do it. But you're not listening to yourself. You're not paying attention to the fact that you've got something going on. You're important. You matter. You need to say, hey, I can't do this right now. I'll be with you in about a half an hour. Let me know if that works for you, right? And you do have to put that boundary down and say, no, I'm not going to drop everything, right? There are some cases, of course, there's some situations, emergency situations, that you do need to drop everything, but it can't be a rule. And as far as women go, and as far as women of color go, that is something that we have to unlearn, like right off the bat, is that it's not our responsibility to carry the weight of the world and the weight of other people on our shoulders, especially other adults. Other adults are responsible for themselves, right? So turn that love, give some of that love back over here, right? What do you do to support yourself when you need some TLC? And when you take that TLC, when you take that time to give tender loving care to yourself, are you making yourself feel guilty? Are you making yourself feel bad? Are you making yourself wrong for being selfish, right? Now, observe that in yourself. Don't even do anything about it. Just notice it. Observe it, that it's happening. So you get a sense of, what am I doing to myself? And how is that coming out in my language to other people? Right? Gwen, what do you think?
The thing that popped into my mind here is, you remember the movie, What the Bleep Do We Know?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so they do the fact, Marley Maitland's character comes across this demonstration of Dr. Emoto's. He took pictures of water crystals with "I hate you" and "thank you" on the
Yeah.
outside. And through this, the "I hate you" was, it was splattered instead of this beautiful crystalline thing that we imagine as a snowflake. And so she went home and she drew "I love you" on her with eyeliner and stuff all over her body. And I think that's the whole point, is that like, I saw somebody did a post where it said, stop joking about yourself, your body listens, right?
Yeah.
So we do have to be aware of the words that they come out. So awareness of how we're speaking to ourselves, and then just even stopping and going, wow, do I really mean that?
Yeah.
And then just stop, break the habit, break the cycle, exactly as you said. Again, more brilliance from Ayesha, am I right? I'm right. Okay. Whoops.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
These are all lessons that we are also learning, right? That we're also going through this. Like, I'm one of those people too, that I have to catch myself doing that, like interrupting that negative talk, because it's so ingrained in us, and it's ingrained in us from a young age, right? And the guilt about taking care of yourself and having to say no, or not now, or later. Like, we're battling with this on a constant basis, and it's about finding that peace and finding that genuine connection with ourselves. So having that relationship with yourself is so important. I'll tell you, one of the things that I'm doing now is, in the morning, when I'm in I have like a space of time where I do meditation, I do some exercises, and I take some time and I stop in front of the mirror and I look at myself and I hold my face in my hand and I say, good morning, I'm happy to see you. And then I talk to myself. I actually have a conversation with myself. How are you feeling today? What's going on? Oh, I see you're a little bit anxious, or, are you worried about something? Or, you look great. You look at all the things you've accomplished this week. Look at all the things that you're going to do today. I tell myself those things because it is that self-nurturing. It's that self-love. It's taking that time, holding yourself tenderly and looking at yourself tenderly, right? Is something that is very special. And if you're doing it to yourself, I can almost guarantee you that that tenderness is going to come across in your relationships with other people. Because once you look tenderly, lovingly, caringly at yourself, then things will start to shift in your relationships as well, right? Now, I'm not saying you're going to see magic changes like in the relationships that you're having. The things that are the most difficult or challenging, they're not going to change overnight, but slowly you start to make that shift, and the way that you are present in even those challenging relationships, it will shift because you're not bringing negative energy with it. You're not bringing anxiety or disappointment or frustration. You're just able to look at it with tenderness and say, oh my God, you're in so much pain. I'm sorry you're in pain. I'm sorry I can't help you. But what I can do is I can be present in a way that is compassionate and just open to where you are, right? Without needing to change you and without needing to fix you, right? Same as for us. Be compassionate to yourself. Give that love to yourself. I don't need to fix you. I don't need to change you.
No.
Right? You are good where you are, right? And we're going to walk through this together. And once you start doing that with yourself, it makes it a lot easier, right? To do it with other people. This is really about what we're talking about. When I talk about the language of love, I'm talking about creating genuine connection with people as they are, where they are. I've got baggage. My partner has baggage. I'm imperfect. My partner is imperfect. Am I going to have one foot out the door because they don't match up with, I don't know, John Cusack?
Yeah.
Who, yeah, right? No, I'm not, because that's not real life. It's not real life. And I love my partner and I want to be there with and for him. And I want him to be there with and for me. So you have to give it a chance. You have to have that commitment. Be honest, be vulnerable, listen to one another. You don't need somebody to give you a list of how to talk to your partner. Just be open and talk to them and ask them, do something for them and say, how was that for you? Did you enjoy it? Did you like it? Would you like me to do more? And when you're doing that, they're going to do that back as well. You're going to have that opportunity to have that back and forth. And if you're not getting that back and forth, then you need to ask for that back and forth and say, hey, I'd like you to do some stuff for me too. And that's how you learn. That's how you learn those things, right? You want to have that honesty, that vulnerability. You listen to each other, you ask questions, you try stuff out, you talk to each other. It's just about being genuine and being connected and being open and being present. Those are the things that create love and the language of love. Because then you're not doing something because of somebody else's prescribed ideology. You're doing something because it actually means something. It's meaningful to the person that's in front of you and to you, right? Gwen, your thoughts?
Absolutely. Well, and I come back to, my power process that I can remember 1,000 years ago, the first most important thing I did. There's lots of people that can look in the mirror and they never look in their eyes.
Yeah.
They put on makeup,
Yep.
but they don't look in their eyes and say,
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
You're fabulous. You're doing a great job. I'm really proud of you. And I know, like, when I've had tough times, that's exactly where it starts, right?
Yeah.
And then the other part is, if you are in a romantic relationship or a friendship, share what you love about that person.
Yeah.
Start with yourself and and I'm having a little bit of battle. It's like, you know what, you're still standing. You didn't get stuff done that you wanted to this week. That's fine, but I'm still standing. I'm on this side of the earth. I'm still showing up. I still have love in my heart.
You're still amazing and wonderful and fabulous and a
You're-
healer and just
Oh.
such a beautiful being of light.
Keep it. No, I'm just kidding. So no, exactly. But the thing is that, the whole thing about compassion, we're in a place right now where there's a lot of compassion fatigue. People just don't care anymore because they can't. So you've got to start with the small things. If what you are doing in your life is not feeding you, turn it off.
Yeah.
If what you're reading is not uplifting you, go for something else. It doesn't mean that you can't go back to I use this example that when I used to read Stephen King, I started to have really bad nightmares. You know why? Because Stephen
Mhm.
King's sort of twisted.
Yeah.
Great writer, but maybe I should mix in some other kind of historical romance there, or something that's a little lighter. So
Yeah.
we have to remember that we're sort of like a sponge, right? And I love what you said. I love this holding your face in your hands, because I do that, where it's like I look myself right in the eye and say, I love you. I love you. I'm proud of you. You're doing a great job. And so, and the thing is that when you're doing that kind of stuff, you do that for your friends, you do that for your family, you do that for your spouse, your partner, where you go, oh man, you look sexy today. You know, we forget, you know, the funny thing about everything, all the marketing, all the stuff that were marketed to us, like, you know, now you've got to get the chocolates and the blah, 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 blah. That's all really nice. But it'd be really nice if it's just like, babe, I love you. I'm so glad you're in my life. And boy, you've still got the best butt I've ever seen. Who knows? But we just need to be able to talk to each other and remind each other we still care. We need to remind each other, even in this craziness that we're in right now, we still need to be able to, if we cannot find that love, we need to be able to get rid of all the noise that's stopping us from hearing what our heart's trying to say.
Yeah, 100%. I think there is a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of unrealistic expectations as well of ourselves and of our partners, right? You know, even the way that men are socialized, our relationships, and how we think about sex, how we think about, you know, how we show each other love, like all of that stuff is not actually coming from it. It is coming from us, but is it coming from our authentic selves? Is it coming from a genuine place of connection within ourselves, or is it something that we've been socialized to think and believe and to try and put out there because we think that's what our partner wants, or we think that's what they want from us or what we want from them, right? And I 100% agree with you. You'll see this in my post tomorrow, because my thing is that, you know what, if for 364 days of the year, you don't show me that you love me, Valentine's Day is not going to make any difference.
Absolutely.
And if for 364 days of the year, you regularly show me that you love me, then Valentine's Day is not going to make any difference.
Amen, sister.
Right?
I love that.
So that's the thing, like it's a manufactured holiday. It's something that creates unnecessary stress and tension for people. People spend a lot of money on wanting to please their partner. And it's not, there's some people that do it out of fun, but a lot of people feel pressure, and their relationships have the impact of that pressure. And especially if there's some kind of disappointment that you didn't do what I wanted, you didn't get what I wanted, you didn't do it the way that I wanted you to do it, or you had to work late. And, you know, this always happens on Valentine's Day. I mean, it's not that simple. It's not, oh, it's a day to celebrate love. It's not that simple. It's complicated. And especially now, after all that we've been through, like we've got compassion fatigue, people are still in a lot of grief. We're 2 years into a pandemic. We're just starting to see the other side of it. Like, give yourselves a break.
Yeah.
Just relax. Give yourselves a freaking break and say, you know what? Why don't we just hold hands and watch TV? That's
Exactly.
Valentine's Day for me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's all about genuine connection. It's all about being present in the moment. It's about being open, and it's about having honest conversations with your partner about what you want and about what they want, and how do you make those things happen for each other as much as you can, because sometimes you can't meet everybody's needs, right? So
Exactly.
but that genuine connection and that presence and that vulnerability and that being there, that's what creates the ease. That's what creates the love flow. And that's where you want to put all your focus when you're talking about love.
Yeah. Is who is it you want to show up as? Who
That's
is
right.
it? You know, and this is anybody, as you know, like one of the things that I like to do is, even if I've met you at the bus stop, not that I take the bus these days, but you know, we're having like a few minutes conversation. It's like, oh, thanks for the laugh.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for the, like what is it that anybody around us, we all like to feel like we're contributing, we all like to feel like we're important, we all like to feel like we're seen. And
Mm.
so I did actually hear yesterday on CBC radio, they had somebody, and I'll find out the name of this book, but they're talking about how the different kinds of romantic love is different from parental love, and that it's really about being on the same wavelength, but they also talk a little bit like it's an addiction, that we're addicted to each other. So if, just like with any addiction, it's good to make sure that what it's being built on is not just the fact that we're around each other a lot, but it's because we help lift each other up. We help, bring out the best in each other, and I think, and again, just one last thing, my mom, we never were able to celebrate Mother's Day, because if you don't, if you're going to treat me different one day a year, I don't want any of it. So it's the whole Groucho Marx. I don't want to be part of any club that wants to have me, right? So
yeah, absolutely. And I think you're 100% right. The other thing is the comparison that we make to the relationships that are around us and to what we see. Like, it's not about that. It's not about having this kind of relationship or that kind of relationship. I mean, there's some people that they want to be together 24/7. They don't want to be with other people. That's okay for them, right?
Yeah.
But is that important? Is that you and your partner? No, it doesn't have to be. And they're both valid, and they both coexist. And that should also be okay.
Yeah.
Right. And I think too, it's how we look at, when you're talking about the addiction to love, it is also, any kind of addiction is unhealthy. So you want to have that space where you have time for your life, for your friends, for what you're doing, and your partner has that same space to connect with whatever they need to nurture themselves. So it's nurturing and loving yourself in multiple ways, and knowing that, being connected with that for yourself, so you can create that in your relationship as well.
Exactly. Oh,
yeah,
exactly. Agreed to everything. Yeah.
Likewise. Thank you.
So yeah, that was great. And as always, in good words, look at us. Okay, we're good. Oh my God, we're in the 30 minutes too. Is that possible?
Wow, that's amazing.
That's because you're focused and you're good. I'm getting better. Listen, the
You're awesome.
reason I like this is because we are a little different, right? That's what makes it fun. And so this is fabulous. As you know, next week we have Family Day. So we're going to be taking that week off, as we are only doing 3 shows a month. And then on the following week, we're going to have, I'm just going to confirm again, but we are going to have a love and relationship coach, Navi Bliss, on our show.
Yes, so, exciting.
If you have any relationship questions, if you have any things that you want to ask about, or you have a question about, send it to Ayesha or myself, and we'll get Navi to weigh in on whatever it is that you're interested in. And I think, the part that I love about, because now this is going to be our little send off. I love you. Okay, sorry. But it's beautiful. And that's also the touch, right? It's also the touch, right, to be able to say, right. And here's the thing, if you can, if you're interested in the power process, please let me know. Send us, comment underneath, and I can send you your copy of the power process, which is basically about looking yourself in the eye and claiming, claiming your power. I call back my power from wherever I left it, wherever I lost it, wherever I took it away, or wherever it was taken away, wherever I gave it away. I'm not making this 100% proper, but it's really important that you start the conversation. Ayesha, I love that. Start that conversation with yourself early in the morning, instead of like, oh my God, why am I so late? I think that's such a great place to start.
Yeah. Even if you are late, just take that couple of minutes and just give yourself that little bit of love, because it's going to make a difference in your day for sure. No, I love it. So yes. And if you have any comments on today's show, please also include them in the comments. And we invite you to come on and be coached live with us anytime. So this month we are talking about love. Next month we are talking about honesty. Mm-hmm. Yes, a very meaty topic that's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. So we're going to talk about that. And so you can contact Gwenda about the power process as well. You can reach out to me for the Empowered Expression Program as well. And you'll see posts about both of those things in the group as we go forward. So please share and send those links out to your friends and people that you care about as well.
Beautiful. She's
Yes.
so good. Isn't she good? It's like, geez, I'm just, yeah, anyways, I'm just kidding. I love you. Okay. So everybody go whatever team, if you happen to follow, what's that thing, football today? There's a big
Super
football.
Bowl, I think. Yeah.
Oh, the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And more importantly, have a wonderful Family Day weekend. And we
That's
hope that you take time to be present and with those that you consider family, right?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. Lots of
Yeah.
love to all of you. Love you, Brent. Gwenda, love you. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, guys, have a great day.